Hello and welcome to the latest video and podcast from Fantasy Football Scout as we look ahead to Game Week 23. I have waited 84 years to be able to say welcome to Game Week 23 after the longest game week in FPL history. My name is Joe and today we'll have a look to see who is due a goal or an assist according to Fantasy Football Scout's goals and assists imminent tables. No Tom this time around, it's just me and you in the live chat as well. So you're going to have to help me, be my co-presenters. So let me know, and also just let me know if you can see and hear me in the live chat as well. I know quite a few of you are here so far. Also let me know if it's sort of echoing or anything like that, because I don't usually live stream on my own. I'm usually with someone else. I've got no headphones in, so let's see how that goes. Let us know. But welcome to Andy, Ivan, TSL, Pratik, Sukan, FPL Copycat, many more. Thanks for joining us in the live chat. Do remember to press that like button, really helps us out. Only 6 likes, many of you here, but only 6 likes. So, yeah, do press that like button. Do remember to subscribe as well to make sure you can keep up to date with our latest videos and podcasts. Everyone in the live chat saying they can hear me loud and clear. I'm so loud and clear that Leroy has appeared in the live chat and saying greetings from South Africa. So my voice really is carrying quite well, all the way from Somerset in England. Also, just a reminder as well to do check out Fantasy Football Scout. For the latest membership offers there. There's a 7-day free trial that's going on at the moment. So do have a look at that. You can look at points projections, expert team reveals, and thousands of Opta stats as well. So well worth looking at that. What we're going to do today, we're going to look briefly at how we're getting on Game Week 22 so far, and how our tables did. We had that show back on Tuesday, only a couple of days ago. We'll look at those 23 tables, and there's a big name at the top of the goals imminent table. I'll reveal my early team thoughts as well, and transfer plans. And also, I'll take some questions at the end as well. I'll basically carry on until my voice conks out. So we'll see how we go there, because I'm used to having Tom here. I can just hand over to Tom and he can regale us with lots of stats and stuff. So just me this time. Okay, let's have a look and see how we are getting on in Game Week 22. So I've got the goals and assists imminent tables that we put up ahead of this game week, and we've had some success so far. It's just there's four more teams to play, including Wolves and Bournemouth are in action tonight. So we don't know how Kuna and Tavernier are going to help us get some more points there, but Wilson let us down, obviously didn't turn up. Alexander Arnold on the goals imminent table was a substitute. Will he get back in the side? Because Bradley is being amazing there. You would think he would get back inside somewhere. Trossard, another sub, so nothing from him there. Jesus, we said, would get a goal, and he did. So he was goals imminent, and he rewarded us. Thank you very much, Jesus. Kuna, we don't know. Watkins rewarded us as well. So the theme was of last week's show was, do we keep the faith in these players that we're thinking of ditching because they haven't returned for a while, like Watkins and Saka. And then the theme of this one is patience pays off, because Watkins rewarded us with a goal and Saka too. Doku, this surprised me, because I thought Doku was a great differential this week. I mean, he did indeed start against Burnley. Man City were obviously the superior side. Doku looked good. It just didn't fall for him. So let us down a bit there. But overall, pretty happy with the goals imminent table, especially those Arsenal assets, Saka and Jesus and Watkins. So proving that the sort of the patience can pay off. Thanks to those in the live chat. Press that like button, by the way. Many more of you now do keep pressing it. Well, obviously not the same person keep pressing it, but do, if you haven't pressed it already, do press that button. Okay, looking at the assists imminent table, well, we rewarded handsomely with 4 goals, but just 1 assist. So we didn't accurately predict a lot of assists here. We did get 1, though. And once again, it's that theme of patience paying off, patience being a virtue. So Doku's top of the list, let us down. Saka got his goal. We've already mentioned him. Trippier. It was another name that people were thinking of getting rid of. They weren't quite sure what was going on. Perhaps he's not going to play. Will he be rotated? He was not quite performing as he'd done, which was that spell. I think it was sort of game week 7, 8, 9-ish. Well, he was getting double-digit scores every week, but he hasn't gone to those lengths. But nevertheless, they did impress against Villa, and he did reward owners with an assist, so patience paid off there. Alvarez let us down tragically. No assists there, but he did get 2 goals. Not in my team, because as people who follow this show will know, I've bizarrely kept Haaland since he was born, practically. So Alvarez got 2 goals there, pretty good. Ogbene at Luton, this is where we can get sort of smug differential points. Goal for Ogbene at Luton. So they laughed at us when we put him in the table, but there he is. I'm a Brighton fan, and Luton beat us. They humbled us. A combination of Brighton being bad, but I mean, all credit to Luton there. And what was really pleasing was after the match, a lot of the Luton fans were saying they were really impressed with the Brighton fans there. And the message really from Brighton fans was, we really hope you stay up, and you just beat us soundly. and that's the way it should be, really. He shouldn't be, bitter or anything like that. And I think with Brighton fans, we've been where Luton were, at the foot of, the Football League. We just narrowly missed out going into the National League. That's where Luton ended up, and now they've come back here. So Brighton fans know what it's like and the journey that Luton have been on. So it's really difficult to have any animosity there. I hope Luton go up as well. And Ogbene there rewarding us. Robertson at Liverpool didn't get an assist, but could do soon. Remains to be seen whether he's still on the table or not. I did around the tables this morning, so they won't include obviously the statistics of the football that's going on tonight on Thursday. But it's just 4 teams, so it's the best we can do. It's a tight turnaround. We've got more videos and podcasts on Friday. Team news, for example. We've got Great and the Good shows back again, which myself and Greyhead are on that, and we may or may not mention Walkergate for those who are familiar with that saga, where a certain number of content creators were privy to information about Walker not playing for Man City and promptly removed him from their teams. But I didn't tell anyone else. So we may or may not mention that, because there's some names involved in that in the Great and the Good League. So we'll mention that as well. And also there's a live Q&A with Sam and Az as well tomorrow. So do check out all of those videos. We got deadline dilemmas tonight as well. I sort of strayed off from Assist Imminent, just talk about all the videos that are going on. And deadline dilemmas tonight with Praz and Rich as well. So do look at that. It's one of my fave shows, because there's always a sense of urgency, and it gives you a good perspective of what decisions we're going to face when we get that team news on Friday. Robertson let us down. If I can't get to Alexander-Arnold, I don't have a Liverpool defender, I might go for Robertson. I'll be quite tempted by him. I haven't ruled out Alisson as well. Someone in the live chat, sorry, I forget your name, but in the live chat, or the comments section rather, on the videos I did earlier in the week, was saying that one thing that we could do for getting, say, Liverpool have a double game week in 25, is to go for Alisson. And so you're tapping into that Liverpool defence. You're getting a nailed-on player, and I'm not quite sure I can say that about all of them, with the League Cup final coming up a few days later. And also, it means you can just bench him as well, so you don't have that problem of perhaps spending -4 to get a full team out the following week. So you can just bench him and keep your other goalkeepers. So I haven't ruled that out either. Grealish let us down. He can't get in the side at the moment. But I'm sure we'll see him as the season progresses. Kulusevski, I mean, lots and lots of points. Goals and assists for 3 for Spurs against Brentford. So the likes of Maddison, Werner, Johnson involved, but not Kulusevski. That was, I'm sure that doesn't indicate he's a bad option or anything like that. But I think the probable top targets really are going to be Richarlison, Maddison. God, to some extent, Werner could end up being a secret weapon of them there, but Kulusevski's probably fallen down the pecking order there. And Pascal Gross is next on this Imminent table, and he let us down. But that was Brighton in general, and I've got a sneaky feeling he might do all right against Palace. It'll be a different proposition. We'll see a different Brighton. I mean, not necessarily in personnel, but we'll see a different motivation of Brighton there against Palace, because it's the bizarre M23 derby. FPL Chai has joined us in the live chat. He's, I don't know, he is now 11th in the world. He's sort of fluctuating between like 2 and 20 at various points in the game week, but he's doing well. Thanks for joining us. FPL Spartans has joined us in the live chat as well. Jimmy, Andy, Nash, and many more. Thanks a lot for joining me, keeping me company on a Thursday lunchtime. Okay, well, that's how we did so far on the tables. So let's have a look at I haven't got a drum roll. The goals imminent table for game week 23. And this is from their last 4 matches. More than 1 goal and you're off the table in a good way. And if you don't get the XG delta stats, which means you're underperforming, you fall off the table in a bad way. Haaland is top. Okay, so he's only played 20 minutes since December, but this is the last 4 matches they have played. So it's going on the statistics from his previous matches, obviously. So this is where he's at the moment. And it's a useful reminder as well. De Bruyne was top of these tables, the goals and assists imminent tables, for a little while. I don't think he was top, but it was certainly featured on them. And he'd only just come back from injury. And it was served as a reminder. And what happened? He scores, got an assist. Last night he got an assist as well. Really reliable player now. Obviously he's not going to feature on the tables because he's returned. He's no longer imminent. He's fully on the radar. Anyway, Haaland is top. He over his last 4 matches he's played, he has only scored 1 goal. And he's had 3 starts. He's had 5 big chances, missed 4 of them, 4 shots on target, but 14 shots, and 14, all of those at close range. So he is doing what he should be doing there. Just needs a bit more on target. I've included a little asterisk there because I wanted to include how he did last night. So he only got about 20, 25 minutes or so, 30 minutes against... about 20 minutes against Burnley. So he only had 2 shots. But 20 minutes, so that's just shy every 10 minutes. So if you think he's going to start and play 90 minutes, that's 9 shots a game. And both of those are at close range. So 9 close range shots a game is what you might better expect from him if he was to start and play the rest. It remains to be seen whether he's going to be starting all of those, going to be starting the next match against Brentford. He might be eased in. He might get 45 minutes. He might start and become off at 60 minutes. I think, though, he will share time. And what happened, he actually replaced De Bruyne and Alvarez moved back into that De Bruyne role. So, that proves how fluid they are in attack. But it shows there are options. There's certainly options for Haaland to come on again and perhaps get even more minutes, maybe come on at 60 minutes, maybe come on at 45, come on at half time. The Brentford are going to be a tougher proposition than Burnley. Even though Brentford are at home, last season Brentford humbled Man City. Pep Guardiola is not going to forget that. So he's going to take this very seriously indeed. So it's all going to... so it could be that Haaland is needed for more minutes. In which case people who don't own him will think, should we get him in? Shall we captain him even? I obviously own him. And that's a decision when I come to my my team thoughts. That's a decision I've got to make. But anyway, Haaland is top there, and that is a big name to be at the top here. Will he remain on this table? Well, I think he's going to score against Brentford myself, so I think he's going to hop off this table in a good way. Next up is Wilson. Newcastle injured, so probably won't play. I've included on here just in case he miraculously is fit to play. Looks like Isak is out for a couple of weeks, so it could be so that that Gordon goes up front. That certainly can happen as well, which makes Gordon a great option for this week at home to Luton. There was just a comment I saw in the live chat saying, from Jamie here, talking about Alvarez. I'll just include it here. So he was saying all week that neither KDB or Haaland will affect Alvarez's minutes. They aren't competing for positions. Alvarez is just nailed and better priced. Okay, yeah. I mean, he's probably got a point there. I would In terms of price, yes. But yeah, so if Haaland doesn't start, Alvarez will be up front. KDB doesn't start, Alvarez will be in that role. What we haven't seen yet is Haaland and KDB together. Now, if we see that, will Alvarez come off? I suspect he will be subbed off then, but you never know. So that's the issue you're facing, and also with Man City with fixtures coming up. So obviously got Brentford, they've got a Chelsea game coming up soon. Brentford again, Manchester United, Liverpool. You would imagine the best team has Haaland and KDB, and where does Alvarez fit into that? So that remains to be seen as well. So yeah, I mean, so I think Jamie's sort of half right what's been going on, but will that be the case in future weeks there? Okay, yeah, Wilson. So I think Gordon could be a goals imminent, but he's obviously fully on the radar as well. Trossard next for Arsenal just underlines that if Trossard can get a start, he can do damage. He's just had three big chances, missed 2 of them, but has scored in his last 4 matches. He's had a couple of shots on target, 11 shots in total, 5 inside the box. Just 2 starts though, and he's been underperforming by a goal. Haaland has been underperforming, by the way, for a goal and a third of a goal, whatever that means. Same with Wilson. Kuna's next. FPL Spans asked Joe, will I be commissioning Gordon into your team? A reference to the Batman picture behind me. Okay, well done. Kuna is 5.8 million. He's still to play, so it's possible that his goal might arrive tonight. I've got him on my Sky team, my weekly mention of my Sky team. Very happy with him. So yeah, he has scored once in his last 4 matches. 2 shots on target, 10 shots though, and 6 inside of those 6 inside the box. And he's always starting. He's pretty much one behind his expect. He should have scored another goal on top of the one he already has there. Asula for Sheffield United. I've included him here. He's now he's an interesting one. I actually had to look him up. I'm so not interested in Sheffield United players that I had to look him up. And he's been coming on in an attacking role. He's been getting things like 20 minutes, 45 minutes, 60 minutes. So not nailed on. May not start, might start. If he does start, it'll probably come off as well. But, you know, it's worth it mentioning here because like Ogbeno at Luton, these are the sort of names we can sort of think we can get brownie points for and say, wow, aren't we clever for predicting returns from this player you never heard of? Okay, so he's got 9 shots, 7 inside the box. Pretty impressive from his 2 starts. 4 shots on target. He's had a big chance. He has missed it. Sean GP asked, Joe, are you also a Cheltenham Town follower as well as a Brighton fan? Yes, I am a Brighton fan, but I do follow teams that I have local connections with. For example, mighty Yeovil, the Glovers, riding high in Conference League South. They beat Slough, so David Brent's troops got one hell of a hiding. And yes, I do also follow Cheltenham as well. My son is at university in Cheltenham, so sometimes I go up there and I get to see a match because Cheltenham's not a big place, so it's quite easy to walk around and get to the ground. I will next be going to see Cheltenham against Port Vale. So the Cheltenham manager used to manage Port Vale. He had a family tragedy around that time. There's a lot of support at Port Vale for him and at Cheltenham as well. Seems like a good guy. And I think that'll be a nice, friendly, good-natured match. And Cheltenham is a really good team. It's a really good team to watch. It's packed and they're fun. They're good fun bunch of fans. So yeah, I do follow them. Obviously Brighton are my team, but I'm not going to discount, following some good local teams though. Where were we? Distracted by Cheltenham. Odegaard is next. Now, I mean, the table includes him. No big chances, so nothing to miss there. No goals, just 1 shot on target. This isn't good, but he has had 9 shots. He has had 4 of those shots inside the box. Arsenal seem a little bit more cohesive at the moment. They seem to be scoring. That Nottingham Forest game. They were in maybe at some points last season they might have lost that, or earlier this season they might have lost that much. Almost did, but they came through that. So Odegaard, a player to monitor. I wouldn't say get him in at the moment. Too many other good players to get, but yeah, definitely worth looking at. Tavernier, 5.4. Bournemouth once again. worth monitoring. 12 shots. He's one of those players that can get a surprise haul. He's marginally underperforming his XG by about half a goal. He's had 4 starts, so nailed on, and 4 of his 12 shots have been in the box. Alanga, Nottingham Forest, I like to see him on here. He's a regular. He appears on here and then pops off again because he does quite well. He has scored in his last 4 matches, just come back from injury. He's had 4 shots on target, 2 big chances in total, obviously scored 1 and missed 1. He's had 9 shots, 8 inside the box. So yeah, he's a good option. Marginally underperforming his XG as well by about half a goal. Elsewhere, Pereira at Fulham. Now looking at Fulham's fixtures, they've got Burnley next, and then Bournemouth and Aston Villa, and Manchester United, Brighton, Wolves and Tottenham. So there's potential for Fulham to score in those. And it's Pereira, once again, he's often he can appear on these tables and he can pop off in a good way by scoring. He has had a big chance his last 4 matches. He's had a couple of shots on target, 10 shots in total, and 2 of those inside the box. So not greatest of stats, but a player definitely to monitor. And we might need some of these players if we want to save a bit of money and get the likes of Haaland in. Because if you look at the cost, Haaland's 14 million. He's not in many teams. People will want him. You're going to have to make a sacrifice somewhere. Okay, let's move on to the assists imminent table. Okay, so it's interesting that Odegaard is there. So Odegaard was, I flagged him up on the goals imminent table. He's top of the assists imminent table. He has got no assists in his last 4 matches, but he should have got a couple. And that would indicate that Arsenal are improving in an attacking way, or something more cohesive. He's had 16 chances, created 16 chances, taken 5 corners, had 5 successful crosses. These stats do indicate some kind of goal involvement is due soon with Odegaard, and it could very well be this weekend against Liverpool, big match. Then you've got West Ham, and then Burnley, Newcastle, Sheffield United, Brentford, and Chelsea. Could score in any of them. Personally, I would think Odegaard 1 to monitor. I've just seen a response from Sean, who was asking me about Cheltenham in the live chat. He's from Cheltenham and says, "Come on, you Robins." Indeed. Second in this list is Pascal Gross. So there was a question about Pascal Gross. I know I'm going to ask for questions at the end, but if I can find... it's Sean. Another Sean says, "Hi Joe, is it still worthwhile to hold Pascal Gross and João Pedro as their fixtures are still pretty good?" He's also considering Gordon. Okay, yeah, lots to unpack there. So yeah, Brighton's fixtures are still good. They have got Crystal Palace next, then Tottenham, Sheffield United during Game Week 25, Everton in Game Week 26 when we'll need our Brighton players for those blank fixtures that are there. And then Chelsea in Game Week 27, Arsenal and Burnley. I think with Pascal Gross, he can play in a variety of areas. He's playing a sort of more a sort of a deeper role. Owning him in the Sky game can be quite interesting because you can see what he gets bonus points for. He did not get bonus points for passing in the last match against Luton, but he did for tackling. So that shows that he's perhaps being in a more defensive role there. So if you're considering getting Gordon in, who's at home to Luton and could be up top, I would say he is a better option than Pascal Gross at the moment. Because he's just simply, he's in an attacking role. And Newcastle's fixtures are really good. They got Luton, and then after that, they got Nottingham Forest, Bournemouth. They do have Arsenal in Game Week 26, but then Wolves, Chelsea, Crystal Palace. Although Gordon is 2 yellow cards away from a 2-match ban, I believe. So that is worth bearing in mind. You might need to hop off him if you go for him. He asked about Pedro as well. I think I saw something today that Pedro is an injury doubt currently, but I'll be doing team news with Neil tomorrow, and we should have a bit more information about that from De Zerbi. But at the moment, Pedro could be an injury doubt, which means, which is problems really. So I don't know what they could do up front. Maybe we might see Ferguson and Welbeck together, which against Crystal Palace could be quite good. Okay, where were we? Pascal Gross. Doku is next, still on the assist imminent table. So this includes last night's stats as well. He's created 12 chances last 4 matches, only 1 corner and 1 successful cross. So he's still creating a hell of a lot of chances there. No assists. Louise at Aston Villa, 13 corners, 7 chances created, 4 successful crosses. I mean, these are all good stats for getting an assist. So with Aston Villa's fixtures, they've got Sheffield United up next, then Manchester United and Fulham, Nottingham Forest, Luton, Tottenham and West Ham. Following those, could get some returns. Might need to go to him to get to afford some of the other players like KDB, for example, and Haaland. I've mentioned Ogbene at Luton is still here. He's on the assist imminent table this time. So will he reward us for a second week? I hope so. I'll be back with Tom next week to look ahead to game 24, and we'll review these tables. So let's hope Ogbone can reward us with an assist after his goal last time out. Anyway, he's created 8 chances, 4 successful crosses. Not bad. Should have got an assist over the last 4. Alvarez at Man City is next, indicating his creative role. 23 corners he's taken last 4 matches. Remains to be seen whether he's carries on taking them with KDB on the pitch, and depends how many minutes KDB gets. He's created 8 chances, scored 4 goals, and 2 successful crosses. So he's assist imminent now. So perhaps if he plays behind Haaland for a period there, these assists could come to fruition, because someone's got to assist Haaland. Robertson is next. Liverpool, underlying his continuing appeal, because this includes last night's match. So his last 4 matches, 12 chances created, 8 corners, 8 successful crosses. Willian at Fulham is next. Fulham's fixtures, Burnley, Bournemouth and Aston Villa coming up. He created 8 chances, 11 corners, 5 successful crosses. Marginally should have got an assist over that period. In fact, got none. None of these players have got an assist, even though they should. So these are good stats. Eze, who was goal scorer, Lise more the assister. Perhaps Eze could be getting some assist points, perhaps against Brighton. Obviously, Brighton have just shipped 4 goals against Luton. So Eze and Elise were both sort of marginal injury doubts going into this, but remains to be seen how they are. I think the news was fairly positive though, so if you've got them in your team, I think it could be quite positive for them. They'll certainly be needed against Brighton. He's created 11 chances, Eze, 14 corners, 3 goals, 4 successful crosses. These are good stats, and his assist could be imminent as well. Lots to chew over there. I'm going to put my bus team up, and I'm going to have a look at, I'll briefly mention how I'm doing. I'm not doing that well in Gameweek 22, so I'll skip over that probably. But do have a think of some questions there. Make sure you put a question mark on there. I saw some comments saying, why do I always say put a question mark on it? It seems obvious, but in the cut and thrust of a live chat, sometimes things like punctuation understandably goes missing, and I can't quite see it's a question unless I can see there's a question mark at the end, and I can read it out, because sometimes I read them out live on air without looking at them properly. So have a think of some questions. Do put them in the live chat as well. You can ask me about all sorts of things. I don't mind. Ask me about Cheltenham, Yeovil, and of course FPL matters. Here is my bus team. So I basically got this same team with the same captaincy for Game Week 22. So you can see I've never done that badly. I haven't done that well. I'm under 50 points. I've just tumbled out of the top 100k, only just. And I've got Solanke and Areola. In fact, I'm playing Game Week 22 to play. So I'm hoping for 8 points somewhere. If Areola concedes, I hope it's Solanke. If Solanke doesn't score, I hope Bournemouth don't score at all. So I'm hopeful for some points there. I'm sure lots of people will be in that same. I think they're both about 50% owned near where I am. I think Areola might be a bit more, 60%. So this is the team I've got set up for Game Week 23. Because of my foolhardiness in keeping Haaland, I've got all my City in place. And so my instinct is to roll this, but I do have some decisions to make, particularly over the captaincy. So I've got Dubravka in goal at home to Luton. I've got Gabriel, who is home to Liverpool. Let's hope he can get a goal, because I don't know if he's going to get a clean sheet. Pedro Porro away to Everton. Estupinan at home to Crystal Palace. I've still got faith in Brighton as a Brighton fan. Kevin De Bruyne, who is currently my captain. I brought him in for Salah last week. I've still got 3.5 million or so in the bank. And I'm going to use that next week in Game Week 24 to start looking at Liverpool. I'm going to possibly, Game Week 24, looking at Liverpool. They play Burnley at home. So I'm going to be looking to probably use my 2 free transfers to get 2 Liverpool players in. And I'll just see what I've got, see who I want to dump, see what money I've got. Obviously, Alexander-Arnold, Alisson maybe, Jota. I think Jota's pretty nailed to come in. Possibly Darwin Núñez, possibly. Oh, I might go for double Liverpool defence. I don't know. But anyway, that's a decision for next week, and I've got the money to do something. Obviously, if Salah's back, I do have a contingency plan to get Salah in. Just before I go through the rest of my team, I do have a contingency plan to get Salah in, and it would involve getting rid of some good players. But if Salah's back and firing for Game Week 25 and there's a double, that's captaincy territory, and Saka can make way, and probably Solanke, someone like Kuna, Pedro. I would have to just sort of get an enabler there, but it could be worth it. Anyway, I've got a 3-4-3, De Bruyne, a Foden as well, also away to Brentford, Saka at home to Liverpool, Palmer at home to Wolves. Let's hope the referee can award him a penalty this time. Haaland up front, Solanke, who's currently my vice captain. I think a home game to Nottingham Forest is a good fixture for him. Watkins, who could get the vice captaincy, away to Sheffield United. And then on my bench I've got Areola. Garnacho's sort of my first sub at the moment. But more than happy to play him. But I feel that Manchester United, if I was a Manchester United fan, watching them against Newport, I know they beat Newport, but they look poor. Alfie Doughty, who was at my bench Game Week 22, 6 points. Somehow, Alfie always comes through, doesn't he? He got me 6 points on my bench at home, home to Brighton, where I just thought, okay, well, maybe I'll miss out on an assist. I thought he'd get like 4 points. Or something, but so he got that. So I'm going to be caught out again. Alfie Doughty will no doubt get a goal or an assist, and he'll be sitting on my bench. I might play him instead of Gabriel, but I just think Newcastle are going to score. I think Liverpool are going to score. I think Gabriel's got that headed possibility of a headed goal possibility. Alfie Doughty, I don't know away to Newcastle. That's a tough one. And Anderson is last on my bench as well. The decisions I've got there, I mean, as a defence, I could do Alfie Doughty on Gabriel, but it's not ideal. But I do want to save a transfer. I'm willing to play one of those as well. The captaincy is the issue there. So obviously Haaland coming back from injury. I don't think he will start, and if he does, I think he could get 60 minutes. I sort of want more minutes. De Bruyne, because of the difference here. So they played Wednesday night, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. They play again Monday. It's a big old gap. So I'm not too worried about De Bruyne's minutes there. I think he needs to get more minutes. And I do think Pep Guardiola is going to remember those Brentford games recently. I mean, the last one at the Etihad last season. And that was... he's going to remember that. He's going to want his top players there. So De Bruyne just feels like the safe captaincy to me. And Haaland at this stage, I'm quite happy to own. And I think that I'm anticipating some questions in the live chat around it. But if you don't own Haaland at the moment, there's a possibility that you've still got the money in order to get him in, and who would make way, and do you bother? So, for example, Alvarez could... Once again, he could start as a striker, and then Haaland comes on perhaps for De Bruyne, and then Alvarez, slips back into that role. So Alvarez still gets the 90 minutes. So he still could be the best option. Foden could be the best option, might not be. Anyway, I like having 3 City. This week hasn't done me. Well, it's done me okay. I mean, I've got captaincy points from De Bruyne. I've got some points from Foden. Haaland, obviously, just 1 point. But I like seeing my team with that. I don't have a decision, and that's quite nice. I don't have to worry. I can sleep soundly with the comfort blanket of 3 City. Whether it actually brings me points is another matter, but I can sleep soundly, especially when Liverpool and Arsenal have a tough fixture. So the other sort of captaincy candidates and other teams like Darwin or Jota, they could do well, but it's not a captainable fixture, I think. Okay, so that's what I've got. So let's have a look at some questions. So I'll just go back to the intro screen. Okay, I'm going to read out as many questions as I can. It's obviously a bit shorter show today because it's just me on my own, and we've got a lot of content to get through. So we've got deadline dilemmas tonight, so lots of issues will be raised and dealt with by our other presenters, and you're probably sick to death of me over the last few weeks. Okay, let's have a look at this. FPL Copycat talks about a Trent to Robertson move, maybe. I think if you have Trent Alexander-Arnold, keep, because it's hard to get to him. But yeah, Robertson's a player I'm monitoring, and Game Week 23, as I said, I really want to hold. I really want to go into Game Week 24 or 25. I want to be using... I have no Liverpool, and if Liverpool have a double, I want to get them in. But even if Liverpool don't have a double, I might want to get one for that great home fixture against Burnley. But I think, just to sort of go off on a tangent, following people like James at Planet FPL, and others who are looking at the fixture timetable. Basically, Liverpool in all the cup competitions, so the midweek fixtures are running out. They're not, so if they keep staying in those competitions, they just haven't got any time to reschedule that game with Luton, which has been postponed rather, in Game Week 26 because of their League Cup involvement. So it's got to go somewhere, and they do have a free time in Game Week 25 midweek to do that. So they could play within Game Week 25 that extra fixture, and then that's done and dusted. They don't have to worry about it. And if they don't do that, then there's going to be absolutely enormous fixture congestion, pointlessly so as well, when it could have been solved. So the reason I'm mentioning that, because it's not a done deal that it's going to move, and also we're coming up to Game Week 23 now. Time's ticking on. Luton and Bournemouth fans want to know. Sorry, not Bournemouth. Luton and Liverpool fans need to know, because they're going to go to the matches. So, people need to know, what's going on, all the organisation behind it. So they better get a move on doing that. So we might get an announcement imminently. But if we don't, I fear it might not go there at all, which would be crazy, and very, very poor for Liverpool especially. But you never know. But let's hope it does go there, because I think a lot of us have been planning that way as well. So let's have a look. Blake asks, "Hi Joe, I'm struggling to think of good defenders to own for the next 3 to 4 game weeks. What are your thoughts?" Well, I would target teams where they're definitely going to be playing. So you've got to look at the blank fixtures in Game Week 29. So Game Week 29 is when FA Cup is going to reveal who is going to be missing a fixture. So the FA Cup games and draw. Praz tonight on Deadline Dilemmas is going to be all over that as well. So what you've got to do is you've got to think who's going to get a clean sheet, who could get me an attacking return as well, who's actually going to play. So it's just trying to marry up all of those people. It's one of the reasons I'm keeping Gabriel at the moment, because he plays in Game Week 26. So it's the first blank out of the way. Game Week 29, I don't know yet. But that's what we've got at the moment. And he's got good fixtures and he can score headed goals. So it's those types of players to look for. Obviously, I'll talk about Alfie Doughty. Those types of players. At home, he can get a return. I benched him this week, but he can get an attacking return any of those home games, even away games as well, because he's on a lot of those set pieces. I think here and Ross Barkley were sharing a lot of those sorts of the combination of them standing over a ball and which one is going to take it. And I think it was Ross Barkley took most of them last time. But yeah, anyway, I would go for those types of players really. So it's more a type of player. Pedro Porro retained a lot of corner duties, it was noted, in Spurs. So keep an eye on the Maddison situation. Pedro Porro is still a good option, even though there is a blank in Game Week 26. So that is a sort of a downside there. I still like a Stupinan. I still think he's a good option. And it's those types of players. Trippier, I think, is a good option. Newcastle's fixtures are good now. Luton, Nottingham Forest, Bournemouth up next. So, combining Trippier with Dubravka could pay off well. So there's lots of options there, but I think really it's a Liverpool one for me personally. If you don't have a Liverpool defender, I would go for them. Okay, it's moved up a bit, so let's have a look. Just moving down there. David asks, do you think Tony is a viable alternative to Darwin as he plays 25, 26 and 29? Yes. I'm probably going to look there rather than Darwin for exactly those reasons. He's got a double game week. He can score against anyone. And he hasn't played for ages. He's clearly keen to play, as you would be. He's been training for a long time, so he's sort of picking up his match fitness. But, he's done really well. Goal and assist last night against Spurs. I do prefer Tony, and I'm going to see where I'm at game 24, 25. If I use 2 free transfers, 24, come 25. So if I get a Liverpool double up, maybe my third player might not be a Liverpool player. I think I do prefer Tony, and of course he's nailed on as well. And is Darwin ordinarily yes, but a few days before League Cup final, maybe not. It could be a Gakpo sort of game there. If they get a double game week, that is. So yeah, Tony very much on my radar as there as well. Man says, do we need a Solanke hat-trick? Yes, indeed. Yemi asks, should we move Bernardo given his benching yesterday? No, I wouldn't. I think that was just... I mean, all Man City players could be rotated at any point, but there are certain players that are more nailed on. But no, I wouldn't read too much of that. I think Bernardo's a really good differential. I think he can still score. Something to monitor. But do look at that as well. Abd says play Doughty. I think he is better. Yeah, I mean Doughty against Newcastle, Gabriel against Liverpool. I mean, it's a much of a muchness really. It's two players that could get an attacking return, probably won't get a clean sheet. So I think it's a much of a muchness. Yeah. I might do that though, just because I've been loyal to Doughty all this time. But I just think at home, I think Newcastle crowd, I can just see that. I can just see him conceding. I don't know if he'll get as many chances as well. Shaz asks, Pedro from Brighton injured. He's currently possibly injured, so do keep an eye on team news. I'll do with Neil next time as well. Just going down this. If you don't have Haaland, says Magic69. If you didn't have Haaland now, would you get him now or after he gets a start? If you can get him now, I would get him now. But if it's at the expense of a player with a really good fixture, maybe not. I think if I had Alvarez, I would be tempted to make that move, even though I think Alvarez will get significant minutes. But I just think it's a move you want done, so get it done. But if it's removing, say, Solanke, who's at home to Nottingham Forest, then maybe not this week, and maybe you can leave it a week. I mean, as I said, even I've got my 1 point from Haaland. I'm pleased I don't have to have this decision because it is a tough one. But I do think, sometimes I think with transfers, like a sort of a golden rule is in timing them, is if it's a player that you look at the fixtures and the form and possible captaincy and you think, well, that's a player I want at some point. So I think you would definitely, I don't mind making that move early because it's just a transfer out of the way. You're going to want that move. Haaland, double game week 25. Are you going to make that move? Of course you are. So you might as well do it now. And I think he's going to get more minutes against Brentford. He could get some returns as well. Man says he believes that Haaland will get limited time, but he has 10 million in the bank. Very good. My only problem is Richarlison this week. I don't look. I mean, it's always a problem if you don't own a good player. So yeah. Right. Ivan asks, have Tony, Alvarez, and Watkins who to remove for Haaland? He's got 12.4 million in the bank. Crazy, isn't it? So people are having a pop at me for keeping Haaland, but people are effectively keeping Haaland anyway. If you're keeping 12.4, that's a player. That's almost a Haaland. That's Haaland without his feet or something like that. I don't know. 12.4 million in the bank. I would keep Tony. Double plays in the blanks. Watkins I would keep. I think he's good. I think it's not that he's returning form. He's always had the form. I don't think his form's dipped. He just didn't get the rub of the green, and I think he could do it any week. I think it would be Alvarez. I think I would move Alvarez to Haaland because at some point down the line, I think Alvarez's minutes will be curtailed by Haaland and De Bruyne being back there. But it depends on those two playing, I think. Haaland and Gordon in for a -4, and that involves removing Nunez and Gross. Well, that's a tough one. But I think that's quite a very good move because Haaland you're going to want to need in. And Gordon's at home, possibly playing striker against Luton. Whereas Pascal Gross could be playing more defensive role. Good for Sky players, for tackle bonus, but not for good for FPL. Darwin Nunez, well, I mean, people know my thoughts about him. Even if he scores loads each week, which he is, or rather not this week, but most weeks, I did not enjoy owning him. And I don't know if anyone else enjoyed owning him last night when he missed that penalty. But that's the sort of Darwin Nunez I don't like. So yeah, I'd probably think Alvarez removed there. FPL Big Head Gross to Gordon for free or roll the transfer. Yeah, I'd be tempted by that. I mean, I'd be tempted even to get Gordon in because at least he plays in Gameweek 25 and plays in Gameweek 26 when there's a blank, even though he's Manchester United. Yeah, I'd be tempted to do that if you don't have anything else to do. I haven't really got any midfielders. I could remove Garnacho for Gordon, which would be a nice upgrade, but it would cost me money to invest in Liverpool down the line, possibly getting Salah back. And also, my weak link is Gabriel or Doherty. Doughty. He's so good. He's like the Wolves Doherty. Doughty and Gabriel is my weak link. So I don't have any weak links in midfield, really. Yeah, I would probably do that if you can. James says play Gabriel or Colwell, or take a -4 and get rid of Colwell to a Stupinan. So presumably he's already made a transfer, so this would be a -4. Well, I'm playing Gabriel. I'm just gonna do that. I don't mind. It's just one position. He could get ahead. I mean, he has scored against Liverpool, so he could score again. So I don't think he's going to get a clean sheet, but he could get you a goal. And that would be really annoying to spend a -4 to get a Stupinan. He's playing Crystal Palace. So once again, he could come away with a goal or an assist or a clean sheet. But he might come away with nothing. Palace, Eze and Elise could get the better of a wounded Brighton off that Luton result. Sean asked Nkunku or Tony. I think Tony's the best bet there because of just the volume of fixtures and he's the talisman. He's always going to play. I don't know if you can say that about Nkunku. Man says his problem is that he has to remove either Solanke or Watkins to get Haaland in. That is tricky. I mean, I think if it's one of those two players, I would wait. I think Bournemouth at home to Nottingham Forest is too good to get rid of. Watkins away to Sheffield United, too good to get rid of. But then Watkins plays Manchester United game 24, which is not as good a fixture. And Bournemouth, Solanke's got Fulham away. So he might not get any joy in that one. So I think if you're going to make that move and it's Solanke, you've got your eye on moving out, I'd probably wait a week. Which would be annoying if Haaland scores because his price will rocket up. Neil asks, is Alexander-Arnold now minutes risk? No, I don't think so at all. I don't think a player like Alexander-Arnold, just because a young player from the academy's come in and done ever so well in a match. Even he, I think he said, was surprised that he scored. It suddenly is going to be dropped. I just can't see that. I'm going to do a couple more before my voice goes. Gordon captaincy, Joe. Yeah, why not? I do think I think he is possibly the best captain. Find out tomorrow in team news whether Wilson's definitely out, whether Isak's definitely out. So if Gordon's there, he'll play up front against Luton at home. And looking at all the fixtures, whilst Man City assets might be good against Brentford, it is an away game. So a home game, yeah, I think Gordon is a good captaincy shout. Supermill is Elise injured, an injury doubt currently, but we'll know more tomorrow. They played it down basically, so it should be okay. Do we risk playing Trent now with Bradley in great form? Yeah, fine. It's fine. I'm still worried as a non-owner. He's not going to be kept out of the side because he can play midfield, he can play full back as well. Ashish, pick one to bench. Palmer, Saka, Gordon, KDB. I've got to get my head around all of this. KDB, Foden, Watkins, and Solanke. Ooh. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, that's tough. Okay. So I've got pretty much that bunch of players, except I've got Garnacho instead of Gordon. And hence me not swapping Garnacho to Gordon, because I'd be in Ashish's position now, and you're thinking, which one do I bench? I've got to bench one of these players. It's probably not going to be Gordon at home to Liverpool. He's a captaincy shout. I mean, the sensible, well, not the sensible answer. The actual answer is bench none of them, but you've got to bench one of them. So, possibly Foden, maybe, or Saka. God, I mean, that's really tough. Good luck with that. I would have a look on the Rate My Team tool on Fantasy Football Scout if you're a member, and sort of go with that, or ask people like me, but I'm not much help. I would probably say out of that lot, if I had to, I would say Foden, but I would not feel comfortable with that at all, benching that. FPL Freddy asked, would you play Darwin? This is a good one. Never heard this one. Darwin or Douglas Luiz? I think you have to play Darwin if you own him. But Douglas Luiz is tempting. I think I would go for Darwin. I would go for just what's sensible, the attacking guy up front. Just a couple more questions. Here we go. What do you think of Gordon? Oh, just the same. Similar one about Gordon. So, what do you think of Gordon captaincy since he'll play striker? Yes, I've answered that. Someone else already. Yes, I think he's very good. Ashish said, thanks for the advice. My head is hurting from this benching dilemma. I know. That's, well, my advice. Get a worse team. Get a worse team, and then you don't have to worry about that. So, yeah. It's not a bad headache to have that your team's too good, that it's hurting your head. But yeah, good luck with that decision, Ashish. It's a tough one, but it's a good one to have in a way, because you've got lots of good players, that means. Thanks everyone for joining us in the live chat. Do remember to press that like button, and do remember to subscribe as well, so you can keep up to date with our latest videos and podcasts if you're not already subscribing. And have a look at Fantasy Football Scout for those latest members offers. As I said at the top of the show, we've got lots and lots of videos and podcasts coming up in the next few days ahead of Gameweek 23, and then we're back again next week for Gameweek 24 preparation as well. But deadline dilemmas tonight at 9 o'clock with Praz and Rich, not to be missed. And tomorrow we'll have Great and the Good. So myself and Greyhead may or may not mention Walkergate, but we'll certainly try and have a guess, see how the template's going for those managers on his list there. And also there is team news and, of course, live Q&A with Sam and Az as well. So lots going on there. Thanks everyone for joining us. Take care. Good luck with the game week. See you soon.